Smith's in the house,
Yay.
fresh from Connecticut.
Man, oh man, I'll tell you what, that between the driving and hanging out with a bunch of 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds, I'd rather ride 205 miles on a bike. That wears you out. So
Where do you stay?
We stayed with them.
Okay.
We stayed with them. Yeah. And it's great to get up there and see them, but it was almost a 10-hour drive up on Thursday in the rain because we couldn't leave until 12. And yesterday, coming down wasn't that bad until Silly, which would be me, forgot there was a football game in Baltimore. It got stuck and timed it in just the perfect way to get stuck with all the traffic that is going into the stadium.
How long did the drive down take you?
About 9 hours. It wasn't that bad. On Sunday, usually, if I leave at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, I can buzz down in 6.5 to 7 hours. When you reach a certain age, you got to stop every couple hours. Just,
Totally got it.
That's for the dog, not for me.
Forrest.
And but yeah, so this was, and it was pouring rain the whole time, and it was great to see him and have fun with them. But I'm ready to get back and chat real estate.
We've got a lot to cover on the program, guys. We'll take a look at some of the data that Citizens for Responsible Planning put together on assessment increases in 2024. A lot of folks are going to get a little more sticker shocked with what's going on. The really good one is the assessment increases in change by neighborhood over a 4-year period of time. That's pretty damn good information.
I actually been looking the median assessment increase by 23 assessment and the price points. And to your point, the under 250 is getting hit with about 11% increase, and the as you work up in value, it decreases in percentage.
We'll give the show, we see viewers and listeners watching the program. Welcome to the program, guys. If you have questions for Keith Smith, put them in the feed. We'll relay them live on air. Judah Wickhauer is ready to rock and roll, too. Look at that, Judah. It's a good day to be alive over there. I like that, Judah.
At my age, every day is a good day. Actually, everybody should be a good day.
Any day above the mud is a good day. J-Dubs, we're in your hands, my friend.
Quiet on the set.
Good Monday morning, guys. I'm Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us here on Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's great to be with you on a nice Monday here in downtown Charlottesville. A lot we're going to cover on today's program. We'll talk real estate. We'll talk life and the pursuit of happiness through physically responsible decision making. Today's program presented by Yes Realty Partners. Today's program presented by the supply chain of talented and trusted and reliable businesses in this community that you can count upon. Interstate Service Companies, a home's best friend, ISC. Certainly a trusted name. Judah Wickhauer is our director and producer. Keith Smith had a bit of a hiatus on Friday when he was with grandchildren. And did you take 95, Keith?
Oh, no.
Take 81?
Going up. So when we left, because we had to do I had to do a septic inspection beforehand. And I'll leave the details on that process.
For whom?
For our home we're closing in Mineral, and I needed to do meet the septic guy out there to do the septic inspection, which means you got to uncover the D-box and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I may or may not have been a bit dirty.
Okay.
Then I had to go home, clean up. So we didn't hit the road until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
And when I did the Waze, because that's what I use. Actually, 81 is shorter. Usually, if you go up 81, it adds about an hour. It was actually an hour shorter than going up 95. So went up 81, came down 95. And of course, I timed it perfectly coming home because that's how smart I am to be hitting Baltimore at the time everybody's trying to go to the game in Baltimore. So there you go. It was fun. I enjoy hanging out with grandkids, and it's just a lot of fun, and but I'm glad to be back. I do love it here. I could not live up there.
Oh, the hustle and bustle and the traffic, the congestion, the white knuckle driving, and that's an everyday life for
Took my
the Northeast.
On Saturday, took my granddaughter out to a diner because that's what you do.
Okay.
2 miles away, took me about a half an hour, about 25, 26 minutes to pull out the driveway to pull into the diner. And it was just
With your entire family?
no. This was a grandpa granddaughter date.
Oh, very
And
nice.
we hung out there, and they made the Mickey Mouse pancakes.
Yeah.
And her and I hung out there for about an hour and a half and had a good time. Since I was driving there for 25 minutes there and back one way, I was going to spend time there. But we had a lot of fun.
What'd you get for breakfast?
Mickey Mouse pancakes.
Oh, I thought that was for your granddaughter. No, that was for Keith Smith.
Oh, no. She had bacon and eggs.
She had the bacon and eggs.
I'm sorry.
Judah Wickower gets a crack out of that, too.
She had bacon and eggs. So, what do we want to chat about today? I literally rolled in hot last night, so today is open mic day. Huh? There you go, open mic day. But you wanted to chat a little bit about the raising of tax assessment. And as you were talking, I was just taking a look at the value changes year over year between 2022 and 2023, and see if they thrive with what you received.
The Citizens, the nonprofit, the advocacy group, I should say, Citizens for Responsible Planning, put together a significant data package for us. They sent it our way. We highlighted it on Friday's program. They talked median assessments by grade, which is class of real estate. They talk median assessment increases by zoning. They talk median assessment increases by neighborhood. Just fantastic by price point. Fantastic data accumulated by the Citizens for Responsible Planning. Interestingly, the houses that are assessed below $250,000 just had a massive spike.
So I'm trying to do
assessments.
this on the fly and figure out what the market value difference was, right? Because, assess is one thing, market is something else. Just a quick look at it, I didn't have a chance to do the percentages. 2022, this is everything. This was attached, detached, and condos. There was 568 transactions, units, homes sold. The median sales price was $429. 2023, that number was down to 401, which is a substantial drop. But the price increased to 459, so I'm trying to figure out quickly what the percentage difference was on that. But look, at the end of the day, this isn't a surprise. We expected assessments to go up. I think you're going to see assessments go up in all the jurisdictions. Interesting, Fluvanna is not doing an assessment this year. So whatever your value is in Fluvanna County right now is what your assessment's going to be going forward. This is going to be an interesting year in that particular county because, it'll be really interesting to follow the budget process, right? They're not going to be able to adjust their value number, their number that they times against, that one corner of this three-sided triangle on it. I suspect my taxes are going to go up. I suspect I'm going to be paying more cash this year because I won't be able to contest the value. I won't be able to do that to next year. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. The interesting category, the sub 250,000 assessed category, spikes by a shocking, 11%. Where all the other categories, 250 to 500 assessed category. And Judy, you can put median assessment increase by 2023 assessment on screen if you could. This is the one with the 11% spike for the sub 250. It's on screen. Viewers and listeners, take a look at this.
So it's interesting. I want to take a quick look at it here. It's interesting on how you can come up with that number because the volume is so low. So in 2023, the city of Charlottesville, only 23 units sold.
There's very little inventory under $250,000.
I'm just looking at what's sold. And so we said under 250, right?
Yep, sub 250.
Got it.
It's making the affordable category less affordable. And remember, prior to the 2024 assessments being released, the 3 previous years had double-digit assessment increases year over year over year over year.
So if you are in the city of Charlottesville and have a home that's under $250,000, and they are telling you that your assessments went up, what was it, 11%?
11%.
You need to reach out to me, and we need to go ahead and send and contest it, because I just did quick difference between 2022 and 2023. Below 250,
Yeah.
this is single-family detached, which doesn't exist. Condos or attached. So in 2023, the median sales price was 220. In 2022, it was 212. I'm pretty sure that's not 11%. Right? Did you say it went up 11%?
For this year, 2024.
Yeah. So my point is the market didn't go up 11%.
Yeah.
So how did they come up with 11%? So I'm doing this on the fly. Is my math?
I think you are doing it on the fly.
Well, if it was 10%, it would be $20,000 increase. It's not a $20,000 increase. It's a $10,000 increase. So that's not 11%. That's 5%.
Yeah.
Am I doing that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure looking at the data that you're looking at.
So
Here. I'm just looking at this graph right
No,
here.
I understand
Yeah.
that. But the point I'm trying to make is I think the 11% is way off. Right? So if 2022.
See, I think these assessments are being done based on upzoning potential and the land's opportunity.
We got to get somebody who's much smarter than me to talk about that, like Woody Fincham. I don't think you're allowed to do that. It has to be based on market value.
He said otherwise on the show.
No, it has. Well, then how can you contest it?
I don't think you can contest it.
Well, I know you can.
I think the assessments are based on what you can do with the land. Like if you knock down the house and you build something in its place.
I wish Woody was here. Because,
yeah, I mean, we can ask him. Let's see here.
Yeah, because.
I'm pretty sure he said on previous shows that's the case.
Well, I know what I do this time of the year in jurisdictions. I've never done it in Charlottesville, but I do.
Woody is watching.
Good. I do it in. So Woody, would you do me a huge favor? Tell me if in the city of Charlottesville, assessments went up 11%.
No. They didn't go up at 11%. In the sub $250,000 price point category, they went up 11%. The other categories of price point, for instance, 250 to 500 went up 5%. 500K to $1 million went up 4%. $1 million to $1.5 million, 4%. $1.5 million to 3%, and $2 million and above 3%.
So let's stay at the 250.
Yeah,
right?
Sub 250.
Sub 250 went up 11%.
Yeah. Median assessment increase. Yeah.
And in 2022, the median sales price was $212, and that's everything. In 23, it was $220.
Okay.
That is not 11% spread.
Yeah.
So the question is, if I own a home,
this upzoning was approved.
The question for Woody is, if I own a home and they're going through reassessment, can I contest it?
I mean, take a look at what happened on Chesapeake Street. It's Karen Kehoe's listing, who's coming in at $500,000. I mean, she's coming in at.
But I understand that, Jerry, but it's not 250.
She's coming in
so if I own
at 2x the assessment.
So the question is, if I own a $250,000, just to pick a number, condo in the city of Charlottesville, right? And my tax assessment.
Well, I wouldn't pick condo. I'd pick single family detached.
I own a $250,000 piece of property.
Yeah.
In the city of Charlottesville that I live in, a residential piece of property. And they're telling me my assessment went up, my value went up 11%, and it really only went up year over year roughly 5%. Can I contest that? That's the question. I know in like Fluvanna and Greene and Nelson and even Albemarle County, I can contest it because I do it every year. Every year I have clients that call me and we go give the market data and contest it. I've done it on my personal house that do that. The question is, can we do it in the city of Charlottesville? I think the answer to that is yes. So Woody, a little help would be appreciative.
Yeah, and I think I think he said this in the past. It's based on the upzoning of these parcels.
That's what an appraisal
changes the value.
That's what his appraisal is based on, not the tax assessment. I think that by statute, this tax assessment has to be based on market value.
Okay.
But Woody will.
Well, explain this. Why are Ludwig and Alan Kajin at Ix Park being assessed on the value of potential condos and multifamily on Ix Park as opposed to its current state?
So I don't know that for fact. So if that's the case,
That is the case.
Yeah, okay, then
Iggs Park is being taxed and assessed as if they built condoed or apartment towers on there. And Ludwig and Allen challenged it and said, no, we have an art park here. We have these retail buildings.
And did they win?
No, they did not win.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that case.
Yeah, they did not win that.
Again, I know in Fluvanna and the other jurisdictions, I do this every year. I can contest it. I generally win because they're usually higher than what the market rate is. I did it on my personal home just last year. They had me at almost 600,000. I contested it, and they brought me down just below 500,000. So, it can be done. I don't know why it's being done in the city versus someplace else. I don't have an answer to that.
Logan Wells Claylow, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for joining us.
But I think what people need to take away from this, if you look at your ticket, right, and you believe that that's above market value, you knew a tax assessed value, you should look into the contest, the process to appeal it within your jurisdiction. So,
I think any of the homeowners that are sub 250 in the city of Charlottesville are going to have an extremely difficult time winning an appeal with the assessor.
In reality, the people that are below 250 don't have the time to go ahead and hire somebody or bring somebody in to go ahead to appeal it. But there is an appeal process. I just don't have it in front of me and commit it to memory. This is kind of this is live and on the fly. But I would encourage people, if you feel that your tax assessed value that you received in the mail is above market value, reach out to the city and figure out what their appeal process is on it, when your deadlines are for it, and then if you can, get a trusted advisor in there, such as Woody or myself or whoever, to go ahead and create something to try to appeal it. I don't know why the Studio X parcel was assessed as something that doesn't exist yet. It wasn't even zoned at that point.
Multiple folks are sending, their current usage is not maximizing its zoning potential even before upzoning was approved. They could have put multifamily housing on it even before upzoning was approved.
So that's what the city's saying.
Yeah.
Its value is based on what its zoning is, and I get that.
Yeah.
A single-family detached home or a townhome or a duplex is a duplex, right? I don't know how they can, in this cycle, tax something that hasn't even gone into effect yet. Right? I don't get how that can legally be done. But I may be wrong.
I'm getting multiple folks sharing the listing that I mentioned, 1316 Chesapeake Street.
Sure.
Grayson's shared this with me. Jennifer's also shared this with me. Neil Williamson, I'll get to your comment here in a matter of moments. 1316 Chesapeake Street is an active listing with an asking price of essentially $500,000, $499,900. It's been about 30 days on market. The home was built in 1940. It is not a large home. It is in the Mead Avenue, the Woolen Mills neighborhood. And Karen is marketing it with its upzoning potential. You're talking 0.14 acres here. And it has an assessed value, this particular house, of $277,200. I'm sharing this listing because other folks are sharing it with me. Neil Williamson shares information from charlottesville.gov, the real estate assessment appeals portion of the website.
There you go.
Each year, all property owners or their duly authorized agent may appeal our valuation of their property by requesting a review of their assessment. Under state law, neither financial impact nor the rate of value change is by itself sufficient grounds for appeal. You hear that part?
Yeah.
Under state law, neither financial impact nor the rate of value change is itself sufficient grounds for appeal. As required, the city assessment is an estimate of fair market value as of January 1 of each year based on property sales for the previous calendar year. Yeah. We welcome appeals based on issues of factual discrepancies in the property description or features, demonstrable issues of uniformity of value within a neighborhood or fair market value.
So that answers my question right there.
Appealing your assessment, yes it does. Appealing your assessment can be a multi-step process. It answers your question because it's based on some of the sales that previously happened in that category.
So that's where I'm getting to, again, median, you have to take a look at each individual property. And it doesn't matter what price point you're in, if you feel that your tax assessed value is above market value, then you need to reach out to a trusted advisor. Woody would be one. I would be more than happy to help with you. And we do a CMA that provides all that data that's outlined in that. And either we go on your behalf or Woody goes on your behalf or you do it on your behalf and make a presentation. They do. I don't know when the deadline is. And maybe that's in that article and what Neil has said.
Judah figured that out on Friday. I believe with looking from if you want to go to a 3-shot, the Charlottesville Gov website, they have until April 1 to contest their assessments. Is that what memory serves?
I believe that's correct.
So there's a process.
Yeah. Interestingly, the assessments just went out. We also learned this on Friday. These assessments went out this past Friday. The mail's a few weeks behind, which further shrinks the time for people to challenge and contest their assessments.
We talked about this time last year. I mean, the process is horrible. And by the way, there is a thing, because I'm looking at it right now in the city of Virginia, there is a real estate tax relief that the city has, right? You have to apply for it. You have to go through it. It's for elderly, veterans, disabled. But there are tax relief programs, but you have to apply for them. And unless you know about these things and know about these timelines that you just outlined, generally it happens, it goes by, right? And if you own a home that's $250,000 and they're telling you the market value is 11% higher this year versus last year, on a median level, that doesn't sound right. It's probably closer to 5 or 6. Now, each property is a little different. But if you feel it's over, then that's when you reach out to Woody or myself, and we'll go ahead and give you an assessment of it, a CMA of it. Who knows? Your property might be worth more than what the tax assessment.
I think the folks in the sub $250,000 category need to be very, very careful.
Yeah. Well, the thing
very, very careful.
Let's get this out there. So if you're more, then you just keep your mouth shut, right?
Yeah, especially in the sub $250,000 category. Yeah. With some of the sales that have happened this past calendar year.
Yeah. So you're deflating the difference between what the value is and what's on the market. So if a home is valued at $250,000 or below in 2022, by market sales, it only went up about 5%, right? Now, if you take that one property you're looking at, that's at a different price point. I'm not looking at the same spreadsheet, but it's at the 5-something range, right? So what is the percentage increase in the 5 range?
250 to 500,000 saw a 5% increase.
And
2024 versus 2023.
This is above 500, correct? The listing?
Who you're talking, Karen Kios?
Yeah.
That's below 500,000.
It's below 500,000.
Yeah.
So that's about right. It's probably 5% increase, but it's been on the market for 30 days, and I don't mean to, I don't want to cross any lines, but I can speak it from my perspective because I've looked at it for clients. To go ahead and do something with that under the new zoning ordinance would be extremely expensive, and it just wasn't feasible. So I don't know who the buyer is for that particular home at this particular point in time.
We are seeing listings getting longer in the tooth across many jurisdictions. And perhaps the 31 days is starting to turn into the new norm. The 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 892 square foot, perhaps a tear down for $499,900 is a sticker shock for many in our community.
Well, it's not even a sticker. It's a sticker shock. The other thing that most people we don't know yet because it hasn't hit yet, won't hit until February, what the actual requirements are for the zoning rewrite. That hasn't hit yet. We don't know what the process is. We have a general understanding of it, and those of us that are in the, that live and breathe this stuff have a pretty darn good understanding of it. And, Look, I'll do an example. We'll come off of that particular piece of property. Something I'm personally looking at on it. It's on 10th and West, right?
Okay.
We're working on it for the land trust. We can put 6 units on there because of the affordable housing component. The sewer connection portion of that alone is making that project not feasible. The cost.
How much does that cost?
$25,000 a unit. And that's with the city giving us a discount on the connection fees. So it's $25,000 just to make the water and sewer connections, plus the bonding, plus the fee, which is about $1,800 per connection versus $12,000 if you're not for that. And by the time what it's going to cost us to acquire it, just to make the utility connections on it, it's just becoming not feasible. We'd have to bring so much subsidy to it. The math is just, we just can't do it. So that's what you're going to see a lot of. It's just the math just isn't working for that at the moment. And the price point on the acquisition, which I can't talk about, is like free in today's marketplace. And we still can't get the math to work.
Angela Morbley watching the program. DJ, I think Morbley may be watching as well from Inspired Builders out in Culpeper. We appreciate your work. We love the social media content that you guys create. I think it's pretty impressive. Comments are coming in pretty fast and furious here. This one from North Downtown. Jerry, as you know, our neighborhood is getting quite costly, and we're very grateful that we were able to purchase this home some 15 years ago. We wouldn't be able to purchase the home now with the price point it is currently, but we did get it 15 years ago, and it's gradually risen ever since. From the assessment standpoint, our neighborhood is in the category of the 1 to 1.5 or the 1.5 to 2, depending on the house. And our homes are appreciating or increasing in assessments year over year over year over year. So basically over the last 4 years, in the neighborhood of 35 to 40%.
Yeah. So North Downtown, 12 homes sold in the last 12 months.
Say right around $1 million, right?
It depends. The average is right around $1 million. We're pretty darn close. The high is 200. The low is right around $1 million on that end of it.
The high is $2 million, you said?
1.950.
1.950.
That's close enough to $2 million in my book.
North Downtown, that Lexington portion, guys, by the old Martha Jefferson Hospital, quite costly. We will get to CRHA's
that is interesting.
purchase of the building on the downtown mall.
It's interesting. More units sold in North Downtown in 23. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
Than in 2022. So 2023, there was 12. In 2022, there was 5.
Okay.
That is interesting.
Why is that interesting? Because rates are higher?
No, if you take a look at Charlottesville overall, remember the graph we did a bunch of shows ago on how we were actually below 2016 in sales volume. So I fully expected to see more sold in 2022 than 2023. And oh, by the way, the prices are on the high side 900, on the low side 700. Excuse me, on the median 700, this is 2022 numbers. On the median 700, on the high 900, but we had double the sales. I'm going to double check that one more time. We had double the sales, and I expected to see it lower. So we're at 5 in 2022 in North Downtown. That information is correct. Let's see what 2023 spits out.
Rosemary Postel, welcome to the program. We love when you watch the show. Did you see CRHA?
12.
Is looking to buy the building on the downtown mall, the home of the old Vita Nova?
Yeah.
The old Silverchair?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You saw that?
And I think what is that supposed to be for a permanent homeless shelter? Is that correct?
No, that's you're thinking of the old community bike spot.
Community bike spot.
Avon and Levy. Correct. This is one on the actual downtown
This is what
mall.
happens when you leave on Thursday.
I see that.
And don't come back on until late at night. But it's interesting. 12 units. I would not have expected to see that. So actually in North Downtown, there was over double the amount of units to sell in 23, 12 sold. You ran on the high side of 2 million, on the low side of roughly 547. You're in the median in the high sevens and low eights on that end of it. I would not have.
That's one of those neighborhoods north downtown, like many in this area, where there's very little room for negotiation. You're coming in probably at full price, and you're going to have some significant competition, and you're probably going to lose to a cash buyer.
I would have expected it to be less sales in 23 versus.
Why? Because of the interest rates?
No, just because the overall city has decreased substantially. So what that's telling me is
The overall city has decreased substantially in sales
in volume of number of sales.
because of the golden handcuffs of interest rates.
Of many different reasons.
Yeah.
But I fully expected all the neighborhoods to look at that. It goes back to my point where micro markets matter.
I mean, that's a coveted neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. It's and I'm just really curious out of the 12 that sold.
That's I would say maybe one of the top 2 or 3 neighborhoods in the city.
Yeah, I'm just curious on how many was cash.
How many are cash on that?
I'm working on that right now for you, sir.
We need to talk about the.
That's interesting. 3 were cash, 8 were conventional, and 1 was an ARM. So out of the 12, 8 were conventional, which is a 30-year fixed. 1 was an ARM, and 3 were cash.
25% were cash.
25% cash, which has kind of been holding true.
Yeah, to market trends across. Do you want to touch on the purchase of that Silverchair building, CRHA?
You're going to have to give me a quick education to it because I am not up to speed on it, but I will.
We could save that one to another day.
I will go through it. Just give me a high level. What are they looking to do with it?
I mean, they're still trying to figure out what they want to do. Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority, Sean Tubbs has got excellent reporting on this of the Charlottesville Community Substack. The acquisition, $2.65 million for 312 East Main Street. It's an office building. Very interesting purchase for CRHA to essentially get into the downtown mall space. Remember, CRHA is a housing authority, and purchasing an office building on the downtown mall is unique.
So they're looking to convert office space into residential?
I don't think so. Because of how narrow the building is.
Yeah.
And this was a great comment from Deep Throat. We'll talk about this, guys, in depth on the I Love Seville show. He says, so take a look at 312 East Main Street. Simply no way that can be housing. It's 25 feet wide, 220 feet long. It has windows only on the front and back, so most of the floor space is windowless and a great distance from any egress of any kind. This is simply unusable as living space under any reasonable safety, health regime. It's not even clear how you make these decent offices. 25 feet wide floor plate where like 2/3 of it is not within shouting distance of a window.
I'd have to do some research on it. I can pick it up on another show, but at the moment, based on that data, it doesn't sound like that's going to be residential.
Nah, I don't think that's going to be residential. That's why a lot of folks have their antennas up. Like, why purchase this if you're CRHA? Interestingly, as well, the city is in the process of purchasing 2 buildings from CRHA on Levy and Avon for a potential homeless shelter. Sam Sanders caught some, I don't want to use flack, but maybe feedback from Belmontonians, and he walked back the shelter word. Still, the talk within City Hall and the talk around insider circles is the Avon and Levy purchase will be a shelter in Tony Belmont.
It's over in the old bicycle.
The Avon building is the old community bikes. That is correct.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. I mean that's. I'm unfortunately stuttering here because I'm not read up on this, as you can tell. But I will get into it and read into it. I was busy having fun with grandkids this weekend.
Absolutely. So comments are coming in fast and furious here. This one is on assessments. It would be challenging for anyone to win an assessment challenge, it would seem, with how prices are going in this market. And I understand they're 2 different things. Yeah.
Well, no. So whoever wrote that would be right? So that's the flip side to this. But if you want to contest it, it would be helpful to reach out to a trusted advisor, and say, okay, well, what is the CMA on my piece of property? What is my current market value on my property? 9 times out of 10 in the city of Charlottesville, we just kind of went through it, you're going to be higher. The question is, how much higher, right? So we know, I think 250 and below is way out of whack. I don't know how they can justify an 11% increase based on 2022 sales from anything that's 250 and below, because I'm confident they can't project what it's going to be. That's an appraisal, right? An assessment is what it was last year. This is what the value needs to be this year. Some of the higher end things, they sound about right. They may be a little low, actually. So some of the price points that are, above 250, $500,000, $750,000, million and up, I think is probably low. If that's the case, it's the best case to keep your mouth shut and move on, and then stay involved in the budget process and stay involved in the tax rate process. Because as Jerry and I talked about before the show, I kind of took a look at a home in a neighborhood in Albemarle County that's similar to my home in Fluvanna County. There's some differences. Acreage would be one of them. But I'm actually paying more dollars per year, cash per year, than that particular home. So you got to keep a close eye on your budget, keep a close eye on the dollar amount and your assessed value. In my county, my assessed value is going to change, so it is what it is. So I'm now keeping an eye on the budget and keeping an eye on the rate, because if the budget goes up, then the rate's got to go up, meaning I'm now paying more cash. And I'm theoretically paying more cash to live in Fluvanna than I am if my home was in Albemarle County.
This is a response from Citizens for Responsible Planning, who often watch our content.
Cool.
Keith, first we see that the assessments increase much faster for the lowest value properties than for the higher value ones. This might be because the development option is a more important component of properties with low value structures. An alternative but not contradictory explanation would be that worsening housing affordability means more competition for fewer entry-priced fixer-uppers.
Again, I would lean on the expert of Woody, who used to be an appraiser, an assessor, that it has to be based on what was sold the previous year below 250.
They also say assessments are an imperfect measure of market value.
Oh,
They can
amen.
be suggestive of market trends. The city assessor uses market data and analysis to come up with assessments, and the city must believe the assessments are meaningful enough to serve as the basis for significant tax charges to residents.
So I don't disagree with any of that, and that's why anytime we have a conversation with the client and they start to talk about the tax assessed versus the market value, we usually focus on market value because tax assessment is generally
Considerably lower.
On it. But I will, and I want somebody to prove me wrong on this, please. I do not think the assessor can project what the value is going to be. It has to look at what the value was in 2022. So they can't look at it and say, okay, this single-family detached lot at 250, which doesn't exist, but let's assume it exists. And since you can build 8 houses or 6 houses or 3 houses on it, it is now worth X more dollars. I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to do that. But you need to ask Woody that question and Neil that question and people that are way smarter than me. I do this enough to know it has to be what the value is for the previous year as of January 1. So that's whatever it was for 2022 is going to set your value for it. So the question is, I don't think you went up more than 5%, and they're charging you 11. So there's 5% on the table somewhere.
So you're saying you encourage them to challenge?
I would definitely challenge it. Just doing a quick assessment here on the fly, each property is different. Each property, right, location, price, features, condition, right, that determines the value on it. But if I was at the 250 mark, an extra 5% is going to make a huge difference in my monthly budget.
Neil says the assessors must state what the value is on January 1st of the assessment year.
Correct, yeah.
You have a number of real estate agents watching the program right now.
Thank you. So as real estate agents out there and you get this question, you can help your clients this way, right? If you get a phone call and say, oh my God, and I get these, so I won't get them in Fluvanna County this year because we're not reassessing on it. But when they reassess, we get tons of phone calls. Last year, we sent, I can't remember, it's God, dozens of assessments. We won every one, to include my own, because we were able to prove, as Neil said, the value as of January 1 was X, you're charging me Y. And they won. I did it myself. So I would encourage them. It's a great service to provide a client and to help them or a future client.
Do you provide that service pro bono?
We do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do others provide pro bono?
I can't speak for others. That's a business decision you've got to make. If I get a phone call and email, hey, I need some help, we get it taken care of.
Lori Fincham watching the program of Fincham
Hey,
Associates.
Lori, how are you doing today?
We love when you watch the show.
I love your artwork. I track that artwork like crazy on Facebook. Good stuff.
Good stuff right there. This question's come in. Keith, you normally give the inventory count on your Monday talk shows. Does he have that data?
I do. I didn't want to depress people.
Is the inventory dropping?
No. So we're up to 44, less 7 days back, right? So I may not have been up on the Charlottesville thing, but I do track this every day, even when I'm traveling. So we're holding about 35 to 45 new units per week coming on, which is way better than we were prior to, in the holiday season. We were in the 10s and 12s and 15s week over week, but our pendings are up to 62 right now. So our pendings are going up. This is ultimately what we've been talking about and what I see the market doing. You're going to start seeing your pendings ratcheting up. So we're up to 62. We're ranging somewhere around double, right? Plus or minus a few percentage points. As many units that come on in the market in a week, it looks like in the last several weeks, we've been doubling that in pendings. So what does that tell you? As soon as they come on, they're coming off. Right price, right location, right features, right condition. Timing is what we're talking about, and who's on the other side matters. The ones that don't hit those four areas, right location,
little
right
stale.
price, they're going to be stale. But the ones that hit it right, pricing matters so much right now. It matters to your condition, your location, and your features. If you hit your price right, I was just having this conversation with a client on the way in about a home, about getting it priced right and making a difference in the market and how quickly we can sell it, because there's some health issues and they need to sell the home quickly on it, and what realistic expectations were on the market in Albemarle County. So if it's hitting right, it's unloading. Let's take a look at the days on market on pending.
DOMs on pending, I would say flirting in the 20 range.
Ooh, double that, 40.
40 range, wow.
So those are units that went pending in the last 7 days. Median days on market was 40, average was 60 on that. Now that's everything. This is Charlottesville, Albemarle, Fluvanna, Nelson, Greene. This is new construction. This is everything on it. Just out of curiosity, the last 7 days, hang on a second. The last 7 days on the sold column, there was 29. That's the days on markets we really want to keep a track on. The sold units, they were down to 19. So we're not in single digits anymore, folks. We're in kind of getting to a more healthy, balanced number of days on market, which isn't bad. There's some stuff in there that, let me take a look at it. There's a bunch of zeros and fours, but it's funny, it goes from 0 to 4, right? And the zeros actually were new construction, so that's kind of, they don't do it days on market like everybody else does. But when you start getting into homes that are not new construction, they're looking at 4 in the last 7 days.
Does he expect, you get this question pretty much every show, do you expect the inventory to pick up? He does not.
Yes, it is picking up. But it's going off at
a very fast clip.
Yeah, and what I did read this weekend was all the national data and the local data on the market, and that's what you're going to start seeing. There was a very interesting article that Inman put out, and I agree with it, that the spring market sprung on January 1. So we are in the spring market. It may not look like spring. Well, today kind of looks like spring.
Today's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Judith thought today was pretty nice, right?
Not too.
Judith's cold?
It's a little chilly in here, but
when
it's
are you
nice
not?
outside.
It's,
It's a thing, right?
yeah. When is he not? It could be 75 degrees and he'd be chilly.
So
It's never going to be 75 degrees in here.
At the end of the day, the same question that everybody asks that we go through, what is inventory going to pick up? The answer is yes. When was the best time to put a house on the market? It was yesterday. When's the best time to buy a house? Today.
Yeah, but the folks, and I agree with that, but to the folks that are putting their home on the market yesterday or considering putting their home on the market yesterday, they're all asking, where are we going to go?
Yeah.
And that's a fair question.
And we talked about this in the December, January, November month, though. Those are if you were really gonna want to move, that was really the perfect time to put your house on the market because there was enough inventory. The inventory was a little sticky. Things weren't moving at that point in time. If you were right price, right location, right features, right conditions, it would have sold quickly regardless of the time of the year, and you would have had something, more inventory to pick from. You do, right? Back in those days, it was 12 or 15 units, if you remember the shows. It was ridiculous. Okay, we're now approaching 40 every 7 days.
This question's for Keith. This is a good one.
Thanks for the save.
Yeah. No, you're doing a great job. This question's coming from the Forest Lakes area from Michael. And he says, what's this market most compared to from years or decades past for Keith?
Oh.
Is it even comparable?
Took everybody out for dinner in Norwalk, Connecticut, to an Italian restaurant.
How many people?
It was the whole clan. So it was 4 adults and 3 very young people.
And how much did that cost?
Well, I paid the bill, and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. What's the total on that?
To be honest,
$250?
To be honest with you, it was cheaper there than it would be here.
Okay.
Which struck me as odd.
Okay.
But in any event, I'm at dinner, and the wait person, we were talking about real estate because that's what we do. Mm-hmm. And the wait person all of a sudden started asking me about real estate in Connecticut. The reason I brought that up was across the board, everybody is going to have to bring in these trusted advisors, and you're going to have to sit down and figure out where you are in the life. And I went off on a tangent and forgot the question, so help me out with it.
What's it most comparable to?
Got it. So that actually came up in the conversation because I got told I was an old guy. And the answer is in 3.5 decades, I've never seen market conditions the way they are now. And that's not me saying that. That's Yoon saying that. That's Steravent saying that. That's other economists around the country saying that, because we have things that are in play now that have been in play for a very long time that are impacting the market that we can't control at the moment. And we talked about this on Wednesday with Yvonne. I was part of the problem. I was building literally dozens upon hundreds of houses with primary suites on the master level for age in place.
That's great.
That's great.
That's what we have.
Except if you don't have to move, you don't move. And 2024, you're going to start seeing more life changes making people move. They're going to have to move because they're in these homes, these 5 or 6 or 8 years, and they're going to have to they will start cycling out. But we've got that. We've got the golden handcuffs that has never been seen before. We've got more people in the marketplace with cash that maybe has been other times that I haven't seen before. We have situations where boomers, which is me, don't have to move. I'm not going to move. Or I'm going to move and hold on to my house and rent it and go buy something else because I got a better cash position than the millennial might have. And we're going to find out in April But I can tell you, I think the trend of the boomers outperforming the millennials will happen again. They almost doubled the volume of sales between 2022 and 2023. Excuse me, it'll be 2021 and 2022, which was the 23 report. When the 24 report comes out from NAR, I think you're going to see millennials take it on, not do well.
Yeah. Well, aren't they already? Isn't that already happening to them?
It's going to get worse.
I mean, and now you got
What are you gonna buy?
you got another demo enter in the market in Gen Zers to
Yeah.
further water down or to further
It's interesting.
make it more competitive.
The Gen Zers are looking at housing very different than the millennials, because I think they see this a little bit more than the millennials saw. The millennials kind of went through the time of great unpleasantness. They remember that enough. I know my daughter does remember that enough. The Gen Zers are kind of past that a little bit. They were too young to really remember that. Now they're remembering the unicorn years, right? And but they're saving a ton of cash that by historical standards, supposedly, according to what I read, they're saving a lot of cash. They're preparing to bring cash to the table for down payments on it. But it's we had this conversation with Yvonne. You know, it's why I spend so much time. I'm happy to report we're doing our first land trust project in Fulvana County.
Congratulations.
Thank you to Maggie Gunnels.
A lot of hard work.
Thank you to Kyle
In Lake
Miller.
Monticello.
In Lake Monticello. I wish I could do more, but we're going to do one over there. We're buying it for $250 and we're selling it for $200,000, and we're going to hit a 60% AMI buyer. But where the heck does the $15 to $20 an hour worker go, right?
I mean, City of Charlottesville's pushing them out even more with these kind of assessment increases. After 3 straight years of
You're not
double
going to see
digits.
it in Lake Monticello either. You'll see it on this one house. That's one out of 4,400, and that was, you know, we're doing our very best. I'm actually making a presentation to Fulvana County Board of Supervisors, not asking them for money. I just want to let them know what we're doing in the county as a county resident, to let you know there is an option out there to, if we can get more cash, we can help more people. But yeah.
Does the county want it?
Oh, as long as I'm not asking for money, they don't care.
They don't care? There you go.
They'll listen. They'll listen to me.
And you have some supervisors coming on the show.
We do. It's
Supervisor Tony O'Brien,
thank you, and Chris Fairchild, and I believe it's on the 9th.
9th of February.
I think it's the 9th of
On
February.
Real Talk with Keith Smith. That's
it.
big time.
Yeah, you know, we're yes, correct, on the 9th. We're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about the assessed values, which are staying stable there. How's the budget season going, which is nutty right now, and where things are going to shake out, and where are the service worker or the teachers and all that stuff going to live.
I think they're slowly, unfortunately, being gentrified out of this community, which is very unfortunate. We will talk about those that are asking about the CRHA and the Silver Chair building on the downtown mall. That will come up at 12:30.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately not read in on that.
No problem. No problem at all. You spent some fantastic time, quality time with your family and your grandchildren in Connecticut over the weekend. That's extremely more important than what, a $2.65 million acquisition of a building on the downtown mall that's been on the market for a considerable period of time. A lot of people are wondering, why would a redevelopment and housing authority purchase something on the downtown mall?
I'm not in the room on that and can't shed any light.
I guess the only logical thing would be some kind of headquarters of some kind of like
Well, it could be
office headquarters, yeah.
But wasn't there a mention on the feed that wouldn't even work? 25 feet's awfully narrow.
Yeah, that's and it's in its current state. It's in, this is the old Vita Nova spot, guys, and it's in its current state. It needs massive renovation.
And
it's not even set up.
It has
for
a restaurant in the.
It used to be the location of Henry's restaurant.
Way back when, there was I can't remember the name of it. When we first got here, it was a really probably the best Italian restaurant at the time.
Wow.
Was in the basement.
25 feet wide, 220 feet long.
Yeah, to go back to this Lake Monticello and 60% AMI. So right now, just to put it in perspective, 60% AMI for a one-person household is they make $46,620. So that would be the cap that they would make to hit the
Per household.
Correct, for a household. The cap, that's for one person. As it goes up to two-person, that number's 53,280. Three-person, I'm rounding it up, it's 60,000, and then for four-person, it's 67,000. So let's go back to a one-person, right? A one-person making $46,000 a year. I can't do the math that quickly in my head. What that breaks down to a typical 40-hour week per hour. But, I know entry-level teachers do not make, or they make that much or pretty darn close to that.
I think entry level might be below that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even...
Entry level with a master's is below that.
Yeah. So, even a single teacher, we're going to struggle with trying to get into a $200,000 house.
And an entry level a teacher with a master's degree is perhaps likely bearing the costs of student loan debt as well.
Correct, which I believe they take 50% of that, but you're 100% right. So it's back to it, right? Boomers controlling the market, right? Golden handcuffs, people using their homes as rental units, which, if you could do it, makes absolute sense. Certain buyers are indebted with student debt that can't move.
Highest time of credit card debt in American history.
All right, that. And, it's just, we're not building enough. There's no such an animal as a starter home community anymore.
Yeah, and it's hard for a builder to even do a starter home.
Yeah, you can't.
Doesn't even pencil out.
I was having a conversation on the way home with two jurisdictions board of supervisors with that exact conversation.
Yeah, doesn't even pencil out.
How do you get to do that?
And then the builder's also getting a little nervous about multifamily.
Well, I've been talking about it for a while. Multifamily is sticky nationwide. I don't think here.
No, I don't think here.
It's sticky nationwide.
We talk on Friday's show about a new one-bedroom apartment coming to a market in, was it Stonefield Commons, Judah? If we go on a 3-shot, I think it was Stonefield Commons.
That new building, the building back
This
there.
was on the Friday edition of the I Love Seville show. $1,943 a month for a one-bedroom?
Yeah.
With some fans outside the studio door looking in. $1,943 a month.
Yeah, I've got the layout for that still.
Yeah, I mean, you put it on screen. You're talking about right over the city line in Stonefield, a one-bedroom, $2,000 a month.
And guess what?
That's going to rent all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
Twice on Sundays.
Yeah.
They can walk to...
Judah basically told me, Jerry, your condo at the Villas at Southern Ridge is priced too low. Raise the rent. That's what Judah just said on Friday's program.
That's what you said, Judah? Good for you, buddy.
Yeah. Judah's getting very capitalistic over there.
Yeah.
It was the two-bedroom. Wasn't the two-bedroom $2,043 a month for the two-bedroom at Stonefield Commons?
Could be.
Yeah, it's overall, nationwide, multifamily is going to probably hit a timeout.
Charlottesville City, not so much.
Well, it will.
I think Charlottesville City, the folks that are getting priced out of purchasing for homes are getting
it will impact
stuck
them.
in 12-month rental.
It will impact the nationwide slowdown will impact Charlottesville and Albemarle area, unless they're using cash, right? Which most of them do not, right? Because these are huge, tens upon tens of millions of dollars projects. They're borrowing money. And you're going to start, I've already, commercial lenders that I know are already starting to twist the faucet off because they don't want any more of this on their inventory. They don't want it on their books because it's more of a national thing. And what happens nationally in that marketplace does impact us here. It does not happen with single-family attached or detached or something. What's happening nationwide, and next show when we have a time, I've actually got some nationwide trends versus local trends on how we're doing about days on market and price points and stuff like that. And you'll see that we're way below as far as things like days on market and inventory goes.
It's good to have Keith Smith back in the saddle. What's your plan for Wednesday, Friday?
Look, I was planning Keith and Jerry for the week. If
Oh,
you're
fantastic.
Okay, if you're okay with
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, I think we'll wrap up the month and kick off, I guess, the beginning of next month. Just the two of us at the moment. I kind of enjoy just you and I, and we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll be a little bit better prepared on Wednesday. I was hanging out with grandkids, if that's my excuse.
That's very important. Keith Smith, guys, Yes Realty Partners, his website, realtalkwithkeithsmith.com, where all the shows are archived. Click the Partners tab of Real Talk with Keith Smith, and you can find vetted partners in real estate that he has personally vetted and trusts and suggests that you support when you need something housing related.
Just to wrap it up, if you're in the city of Charlottesville and you think your tax assessment is way over market value, reach out to a trusted advisor, a real estate agent, Woody Fincham. You can surely reach out to me, and we can do a quick CMA back of the envelope. Say, look, it's right, it's wrong, and if they are charging you more than what your property is worth, you should contest it.
There you go. Sage advice from Keith Smith. Judah Wickower, the director. I'm Jerry Miller. The I Love Seville show is up at 12:30 with a lot to cover, as we normally do, over a weekend in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. For Keith, Judah, my name is Jerry, and thank you for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. So long.
Bye-bye.
Nicely done.